I was always a big film buff. You know, I loved Jurassic Park, and I also loved Shrek, sort of the animation movies and stuff like that, Toy Story, you know, and I particularly found I loved just watching the DVD extras, you know, when they started talking about how they made it and what they started to do, and I started to realise that this could be a career path. You know, there is a whole sort of world that goes into making these films.
I remember watching, this is probably an unusual answer, but I remember watching 101 Dalmatians, and the guy he made computer games, and I remember there was a part of the film where a guy was testing out his games, and I was thinking, oh, that'd be quite cool, I could make computer games. I think that was when I started to think about it.
I kind of worked it out because I love painting, so I was like, how do I approach, or how do I get my paintings seen the most and the biggest? And to me, I was like, oh, movie screen, huge audience of the world. So that was the way.
I kind of fell into visual effects, had a huge learning curve, huge learning curve. I'm not afraid to admit that. But you know, 10 years later, I'm here, and I love it, absolutely love it.
With the industry as a whole, it would be really good to see more females joining this profession, and especially to see more women being promoted into higher positions, not just artist lead supervisors, VFX supervisors. So there are more role models for other women entering the industry.
I think I look at myself and I try and, you know, I'm aware that in the role I do now, there are not many women that do it. I'm aware of that, and I think other people are aware of that as well. I think I've had occasions, you know, on set and stuff like that, where people assume you're doing a different job to what you are doing. You know, maybe they assume that you're in production or something, which is no bad thing. It's just, you know, I think people aren't used to supervisors being female.
I think I'm worried more about, you know, how women sort of stay in this industry. I think it's not currently a very family-friendly industry. You know, the hours, you know, the dedication it takes to make these films, to make these top-notch films, require a lot of your time.
If I had known back in the days of my, you know, schooling or college, or that this was even an option, heck yeah, I'd have been right in there.
Going all the way back into maybe the high schools and promoting visual effects, and that it is a lucrative industry, that you can have a career and a steady job if you go towards it.
Yeah, I think now I'm in a supervisor role. I think it'd be great if, you know, the talks that companies do and back at universities and stuff like that, I think the more women you can get to those talks and doing those, educating people that way, I think would be a good sign.
The thing is that I think from the outside looking in, this world is complex, and sometimes inside looking out it's incredibly complex too, but in terms of demystifying what you can actually bring to this industry, you know, don't fear it. I think there just needs to be more approachable individuals that can be accessible to the outside world, to realise that there's a lot of transferable skills that can come across, on top of that hardcore talent that you do look for in the artist industry. So yeah, if you have a moment doubt, just get rid of it. You won't know until you give it a go, right? You've got to give these things a go, and then you find out if you want to go and work at a garden centre, you go work at a garden centre. Don't worry about it, move on. You've only got one life, live it.